But look, the scene's a farce. The devils lack humanity and drew their swords. Subtitles. They slowly walked towards John, with fierce expressions on their faces and arms raised high, intending to chop down the flag, while the church once again echoed with the girls' wails, akin to the screams at a rock concert. The devils grabbed them, intent on more harm. John charged to stop them, but was knocked out by a gun butt like a game over. The fighting girl fell from the high-rise by accident, blood staining the ground. Instructor Lai, hearing the noise, raised his rifle to vent his anger. As the girl faced attack, bullets shot like tadpoles, piercing the devils' hearts. They whistled and all fled like chickens outside the church. In the church, John touched the deceased girl. No matter how helpless she appeared, he couldn't accept the scene. Only those who have experienced war know its cruelty. Instructor Lai set a web outside. The devils were as blind as mice. Every trigger pull was a deadly blow to the little devils, but they kept inching closer, even tossing heaps of grenades at Instructor Lai's rooftop like mischievous school kids. At this moment, blood-soaked, his gaze repelled the devils who dare approach. Like a jungle beast, they shot from afar. Instructor Lai won, shockingly using his body to trigger a grenade and take down the devil's world. Through the rose window, the girl saw true hues. Explosions drew more devils, boosting the party vibe. They surrounded the church, and an officer approached John, offering fake apologies, promising to send guards. This was straight out of a ridiculous play to protect the students' safety, but with the catch that they'd have to sing a Japanese song in 3 days. Sounds like a bad joke. John wouldn't trust the little devils, yet had to agree temporarily, planning to act after they left. After the Japanese left, John took the girls to bury their dead classmate. Having endured this farce, he vowed silently to get the remaining girls to safety. The women in the church glanced at the disheveled students, feeling guilty. Suddenly, a man flickered into the church like a ghost, and it turned out to be Xu Huan's father. To save his daughter, he was willing to work as a collaborator for the Japanese, but Xu Huan utterly despised her father's actions. John learned he was working for them and nearly tossed him out the door. With repaired tools and permits, he could escape Nanjing with the kids. At night, women in the cellar gathered, treating it as entertainment. They shared stories about their homes, as if it were a feelings-sharing segment. At this point, they had already cast aside the panic they felt during the day, and Dooku approached Pu Sheng's side, starting to listen with patience. "What do you have at home?" "I have a little sister. It was like a family reunion. Then he'll play the pipa for you every day, while you hold a stick." "Oh, I'm still alive. I've got my uncle and 4 lonely souls with me." Upon learning that Pu Sheng's family was gone, Dooku felt heartbroken and hatched a plan in his mind. Soon after, Pu Sheng left a real tragedy. Tears flowed from the women, a scene worthy of a film. As the mortician, John prepared Pu Sheng's makeup. This was the only thing they could do now. After burying Pu Sheng, the women suddenly noticed Dooku and Zhang Lan were gone like missing actors from a play. "On? Where did they go?" "I told Pu Sheng she was unfortunate. I was having a chat with Pu Sheng, but other Japanese devils at the door. I told her to eat. Now she can't hear me." The pipa strings were cut during escape. Dooku and Zhang Lan sneaked back to Qiu unseen by the sisters. They held their hearts tight and finally found the strings at the brothel. But just as they grabbed the stuff and prepped to leave, spotted by the little devils, they shared cuts to dab at them, like hide and seek. In this ravaged Nanjing, it was anything but simple. They rushed back to the brothel, but on Wolf Bridge, Zhang Lan tumbled down. Devils gave chase. Having no choice, Dooku fled alone as Zhang Lan clung to one, buying time for her sisters. 15-year-old Dooku, stark naked and tied to a chair like a movie scene, endured the Japanese's abuse and bit off an ear in despair. John and another person left the church under the pretense of searching for food. Scouring the wrecked streets of Nanjing, it was like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Following Yuma's clues, they finally reached Qiu, but were left stunned to find Zhang Lan sprawled out on the ground. A true surprise. Her vivid red blood still stained the ground, slowly pooling around the treasure John had sought for her. He didn't tell the women, just said they died of flu. It eased his breath and made Gopi easier. That night, Xu Huan's father sneaked into the church, bringing John tools and passes. "What a magic move. My daughter's eyes. I'm a bad guy. A thief, no. Thanks. Time's all." Although Xu Huan quickly claimed to be a student, alleviating the officer's suspicion, it was still a disaster. The officer didn't just come for tunes. He wanted to host a celebration at tomorrow's victory party. Upon hearing the news, John outright refused, but the little devil officer just walked away, counting heads like a strict auditor. To keep the kids calm, John did his best to soothe them, but Wendy saw through the little devil's intentions and said she wasn't a student and definitely didn't want to attend the celebration. Wendy broke down and revealed the truth. The devil's actions in Nanjing in the past days were clear for all to see, a real-life farce. Subtitles: murder, arson, and even rape. John choked up with emotion and could only keep on spinning his charming and deceitful lies. The girls knew the outcome of going there. At night, they rose one by one in a daydream. Sit next to Shu Huan. I'll serve the first dish. You all watch closely. My husband loves me back.